Good afternoon. I want to talk about something that happened in my life uh, in 2004 when I was 47 years old. In the light of shootings of black men and police officers in Dallas, um, I had to ask myself, why would I bring something like this up at this time? And perhaps it will be revealed to me why. Um, I think it has more to do with forgiveness, um, God, and basically just trying to survive in a country that has got there's way too much violence going on and too much gun violence as well. But in 2004, like I said, I was 47 years old. I had just gotten off the streets from being homeless. I got government assisted housing in the hood in Omaha, Nebraska. And as you can imagine, I was not raised in the hood. Um, and I just did my best to keep an even keel while I was there because I had no idea what I was doing um, with regards to other people in the streets and alcoholics and addicts, prostitutes and pimps, and everybody of that nature. God saw fit to have a school contact me to return to school to get my degree. And that was a miracle in and of itself because I don't remember applying to that school. Um, they had kept my number and called me probably 2 years after I had contacted them, so I'd forgotten all about them. Anyway, I was in my apartment studying, and I heard a lot of commotion from the woman across the hall. So I made the mistake of opening my door. And I had seen her in the hallway earlier arguing with the man that lived next to me. And I just stood there and watched the argument. And I didn't really get that involved in it. I just, because I was standing there talking to him when she came out and started arguing with him. So I went back into my apartment and like I said, I heard her screaming and yelling and talking about this guy next door. And then I heard her bring me up. And I was like, whoa, wait a minute. What is this about? So I opened the door and I saw her standing in the hallway and two white police officers in her apartment. And I tried to explain that, first of all, why was she bringing my name up? I didn't have anything to do with anything. Um, and the next thing I heard was one of the officers telling me to shut my fucking door. And I said, excuse me? I mean, I'd never been in trouble legally ever in my life. Um, and I'd never been talked to like that by police officers. So I was just standing there with my mouth open, like, why are you cussing at me? And he repeated to shut my door, shut my fucking door. Uh, and I just froze with my door open. The next thing that happened was the largest police officer, and I would say cop or pig because at the time I was really, really upset at the way I was treated. Um, anyway, he charged at my door, and as I was trying to shut it, He broke open the door, proceeded to come into my apartment and kick my ass. And I was in disbelief. I couldn't believe this was happening. Um, and as he was throwing me around, this guy had to be at least 250 pounds, over 6'4". I'm 5'5", and at the time I weighed maybe 115 pounds, maybe 120. So I got roughed up pretty bad. And then the other police officer came in and joined in manhandling me. And they broke some items in my apartment. My TV almost went out the window. They shoved me so hard that I hit the television. And next thing I know, I'm face down on the floor, knees in my back, in my neck, handcuffed for no reason other than they could do what they did. And as I was laying face down, the biggest guy bent down and punched me in my side as hard as he could. I was bruised there for weeks. And they carted me, they picked me up, carted me down the hallway, and were making up charges against me. Just making up what they were going to say when they got me to the precinct. And they put the handcuffs on so tight that it cut off the circulation in my hands. So when we got to the squad car, I asked them to please loosen the handcuffs because it was hurting me. And they just told me to shut up. Shut the fuck up. And shoved me into the squad car in the back seat. And one of the officers got in the back seat with me. And they continued to talk about charges they were going to bring up and ask me my name, and I wouldn't give them my name. I didn't understand why they were doing this. So, and I'd never been involved in anything like that in my life, so I didn't know if it was within my rights to withhold my name or not. But then he said, if you don't tell us your name, we're going to make up some more charges. And you'll never get out of jail. And I was like, good God almighty, really? And I began to cry because I didn't know my rights. I didn't know anything. I didn't know why they beat me up. I just didn't know. So I told them my name. They took me into the precinct. I complained again about the handcuffs being too tight. And they didn't care. So they took me in and fingerprinted me and booked me, and I was complaining and crying the whole time. And then they put me in a cell, and I continued to just freak out. I just, what the fuck? Really? I told them I'm a veteran and that I'd never been in trouble. And they said, well, you're in trouble now because we're going to bury you. So I got one phone call. I called my father, explained briefly what had happened, and please come get me out of there. And he and his wife jumped in their car and came and got me. And took me home. And when I got home, I was so shook up. I was just, and I was physically hurting. I decided to get in my car and go to the store. And on the way back, I saw those policemen on the street. And a chill ran down my spine that I'd never felt before in my life. Pure, unadulterated hatred for those pigs. They were pigs. They're not your average police officer on the street. I've seen things on television today talking about, you know, probably 90 something percent of police officers are there to do their job, and there's some that just aren't. They will brutalize you. And if you're black, you don't stand a chance. Um, I continue to drive home with this hatred in my heart. And when I got there, the next day, I called the only black man on the Senate in Lincoln, Nebraska, and went and visited him and told him what happened. He got the television stations to come to my apartment and interview me about what happened. And when it aired, before it aired, they showed the interview to the police, who proceeded to lie, just lie. They said the whole thing happened in the hallway, um, a whole bunch of stuff that didn't happen. And I just cried and cried and cried. Um, and I then went to the DA to file a complaint against the officers, but because there was two of them against me, he made it very clear that it would be their word against mine, and nothing could probably be done. Um, I also went to the VA hospital to be treated for my injuries. Um, and, you know, to this day, I do not trust cops. But I had to forgive them or be bitter the rest of my life. And I was not taught to be a bitter person, and anger, that kind of hatred could make me go back out and drink and use drugs again. So I had to do what I had to do to forgive those people for what they did. The they got moved out of that neighborhood immediately because they knew I was out for blood, and I never saw them again. But perhaps I say all this to say that, you know, I know the focus right now is on black men being brutalized and killed, and violence against them in this country, but you know what? It can happen to women too, because I was living as a female at that time. And we all have to find a way to spread love in this world, because everything is getting completely crazy. I am not a religious man, but I study many different religions and spirituality, and revelations is here, folks. Chaos is everywhere. Stuff is happening, and if we don't come together as the human race in the name of love, we will destroy ourselves. We will destroy this planet, and we will destroy ourselves. And I cannot let that incident that happened in 2004 make me hate an entire, to generally hate all police officers. I don't trust them, no. But I can't hate them. And I don't want anybody watching this video to get afraid, to start getting paranoid, because this has been a fact in this country since we were drug over here from Africa. And it's not anything new. It's just the media is going crazy with it, and they know how to push people's buttons and to get and create hysteria in this country. I was around during the civil rights movement, and it was very violent, and a lot of things happened, and I survived that too. And so please, everybody, do some soul searching. Don't hate every cop on the planet. Don't hate every cop in this country because of a few bad seeds. There are bad seeds in every walk of life, every business in life, there's just a lot of bad things going on right now. So I didn't tell that story for anybody to feel sorry for me either, because I got through that. And I'm a better person today for God giving me the ability to forgive. I'll never forget, but I do forgive them for being ignorant, racist, probably even sexist, and homophobic. People could tell what I was. People have always been able to tell what I am, whether I was a lesbian butch or now transitioning as a male and still looking like a female. People know. So I will just close by saying, look up the word namaste and what it means, and try to see the God in people, see the fear in them. We're all afraid. We're all walking around with some level of fear about something. And it is up to us to take that fear by its hand and go do what we got to do in life, including loving people, loving humanity, embracing our humanity with our fear right along beside us. Thank you for watching this video.